Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kayla. I am a Las Vegas stripper and a TikTok content creator. And as for the title, today's video is going to be about stripper Q&A. These are just questions that you guys have been asking me mainly on TikTok, YouTube, and on Instagram. So let's get started. The first question is, how did you start stripping and why? So the way I started stripping was from an old friend of mine when I was 20 years old. We used to work at a restaurant together. We were just kind of complaining about like how we weren't making enough money and how tired we were of just like working at that place. I just really hated my life and I was living from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck and I just wanted more. One of my girlfriends was like, hey, I'm actually a stripper. You should consider being a stripper too. And at first I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. First of all, I don't even know how to dance. Second of all, I don't even have any boobs. I'm very petite. I am 5'6" and I weigh about like 100 to like maybe 105 pounds. But at the time I weighed like 90 something pounds. So I was super small. Yeah, I just didn't have the confidence for it and I was very insecure. You know, I didn't know how to like shake my ass or like do any of that stuff. So I was like, I'm not doing that. You know, like that to me, that was really scary, especially because coming from like a Hispanic family and my family's like super religious, they would just be really disappointed in me. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it out. Fuck it. Like, why not? So I did it. I actually auditioned the day before my 20th birthday. So I was 19 and then my birthday was the next day. So I ended up doing it, surprisingly got hired and I was super shocked. So I ended up working just that night. I think I made maybe like $300 and I was shocked. So that's how I started stripping and that's why I started stripping. And the second question is, do waitresses make a lot of money too? They do make a lot of money. It depends. It's kind of like being a stripper. Like it really depends on like how your night goes, depending on how many people tip you, like how many dances you get. But with waitresses, they just get tips and then hourly. I don't have much to say about that because I've never been a waitress at a club. I'm assuming they make a lot of money too. So if you're thinking about being a bottle waitress, I would definitely recommend checking it out and maybe you'll like it. So the next question is, how do you work on your period? It's very interesting and it's kind of crazy. When I'm on my period, I of course put my tampon in, I grab a pair of scissors, I cut the string short enough where I'm not like cutting my Pikachu obviously. And then once I cut that string, I tuck it inside in between my lips. So I grab the string and I tuck it backwards and then I just put my lips over it. I know it's very TMI. That's how we work on our period. Just cut the string, tuck it in. And then a lot of you guys ask like, what if it gets stuck in there? What if it starts going inside your Pikachu? Or basically you just stick your fingers in, find the string, and you just pull really hard. That's how strippers work on the period. So hopefully that answered your question. The next question is, how do your parents feel about you being a stripper? The first time that I told my mother that I was a stripper, of course she was disappointed. Like she didn't push me out. She was like, my mom's very accepting and I really love her for that. She's very open arms and she's very understanding. She trusts me and she knows that I'm not like crazy or gonna do anything crazy. That's how my mom felt about that. And then my father, oh my God. My dad is really strict. When I told him, he couldn't believe it. I had to tell him a couple times, like, I'm a stripper. Like, he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, this is what I do. Like, I'm a stripper. And he just couldn't believe it. He was really upset. He was really embarrassed because, you know, the family, which I completely understand. And he did shun me. He didn't talk to me for, I want to say like a couple months, maybe close to a year. I'm not sure. And I gave him his space. Of course, I felt really bad. I was already like over age. So, and I wasn't living with him. It's not like I was living with my parents and then I was stripping under their roof. No, I never did that and I would never ever do that. He was really upset. And I, of course, felt like I beat myself up for it for a really long time. And I felt ashamed of myself for being a stripper. And at some point, I was embarrassed. You know, I did keep it a secret for a really long time. Back then, it just wasn't like okay and the people in my life were just like, no. So yeah, that's how my parents and everybody else felt about me stripping. So yeah. Next question is, how do you start stripping? So it's very, very easy and simple. So basically you just call your local club, ask them is hiring for strippers. Just know that every club is always hiring for strippers. And every club has a different schedule on when they do auditions. Once you go, they're gonna ask you for a 2-piece, a pair of heels. Just make sure you're really dolled up, make sure you're in shape. Just don't be discouraged if they tell you no. I've auditioned at many clubs here in Vegas, and I'm not gonna lie, a few of them did say no, and I was shocked. And I was like, okay, but I didn't take it personal because every club is different. A lot of clubs, they like bigger girls with bigger boobs and bigger butts. Some clubs like more like alternative rocker girls or like petite girls. Like every club is looking for a specific type. So that's how you start stripping. And then once you get hired, you can work that night. Most clubs will let you work that night, and I recommend working that night and just making some quick cash. They're gonna give you a sheet of paper, and they're gonna tell you to get your business license, your sheriff's card. So my sheriff's card, I spent about like $100, and you do have to go to the police station for that. Basically, when you go to the police station, you don't have to make an appointment. At least in Vegas, you don't. You walk in the police station. I would go super early before they open, or like last minute before they close, because the police station in Vegas is always super busy. Take a ticket and you sit down, wait until you get called up, and then they're gonna ask you what you're in for. You tell them I'm here to get a sheriff's card. They give you another number, and before they give you that other number, because they take pictures and like do like your fingerprints, it's almost like you're getting arrested. It kind of feels like that. They make you take a picture like this, and make you take a picture like this, and everything. So before you do that, they ask for your payment, which is about like $100. You do have to bring, I think, like 2 or 3 forms of ID, and then that's when you go and take your picture and everything. I think you get your card that day of, or I think they ship it to you, but I'm pretty sure you get that sheriff's card that day of. It's gonna have a picture of you, it's gonna have the ID number, it's gonna have the expiration date, and then it's gonna have like an issue number. And you see those numbers, that's what you're gonna have to put in on the paperwork when you start working. You start dancing, they make you fill out a paper. It's gonna ask, your name, where you live, your social media. It's gonna ask for your sheriff's card number, issue number, expiration date. It's gonna ask you for your business license number and everything, like a bunch of shit, like your social security. So it's like this, like, stripping is actually a job. It's not just like you go in and get cash and that's it. Like, it's an actual job. Like, you're paying your social security, you're paying your Medicaid, but yeah, so it's about $100 for your sheriff's card, and then for your business license, that is $200. And when you get hired at whatever strip club you audition for, it's gonna give you a list of all the things that you need to do in order to start working. You can start working, but you would have to show proof of like receipts that you already got those cards to work. So the business license is $200. The website for that in Vegas is like silverflume.com. I'm pretty sure that's it, because that's where I got my business license recently, because I had to renew it. And if you don't renew it, they're gonna make you pay like $800. And that happened to me one time. That was not fun, but I did something else to not pay that. I just like registered myself under like a different name, but with my same name. So that's what I did. So that is how you start stripping. Next question is, how do I deal with my mental health? This one for me is such an important question for all future strippers or current strippers. Dealing with your mental health when you're stripping, it can be quite difficult, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started stripping, it was just, I felt like I wasn't all there, and I wasn't really smart about like my money and like my goals and like things that I wanted to do in the future. Like, I was just kind of doing it as like a paycheck to paycheck thing, and then just like going on shopping sprees and like doing whatever the hell I wanted, like traveling and like buying just all these unnecessary things. And when I first started stripping, like, I was living on my own, and I did deal with an alcohol problem to the point where I was very suicidal. And I'm not gonna lie, I did try to suicide one time, which I don't really talk about, and I'm getting anxiety talking about it, because as you can see, like, I'm getting red, because I just feel like I need to be really open and honest with you guys about this world of stripping, when I feel like I just wasn't all there. I drank a lot, the minute I woke up, I was drinking tequila and like soda and like eating my food and just like then getting ready for work. And I just felt very alone. Like I felt like I didn't have anybody there. And I was making so much money, and my family wasn't obviously, you know, they didn't approve of me, whatever I was doing. And I had a lot of bad friends in my life, you know, at that time. I just felt really alone. I felt like I didn't have anybody there. So after all that went by, I did take a break on stripping. For those of you wondering, I have been stripping. I don't want to say that I'm 27 now. I have not been stripping for 7 years, okay? Realistically, I maybe have been stripping for maybe like 2 to maybe 4 years, but it was never like full time. Like I would strip for like maybe like 3 times a month for like a couple months, and then I would stop, and then I would start again, and then I would stop. It was never like a full-time thing because I was always hiding my job from everybody, from my friends, my family, from everybody. My mental health was just, I felt like I was Hannah Montana, like I was living a double life. Just really confusing. And like I said, my head wasn't all there. I didn't know what I wanted in my life. I didn't have any future goals. So I did make a lot of mistakes years ago of how I started stripping, and I regret it. I wish someone would have told me like, hey, like you got to pay your taxes, you got to save your money, like go back to school, like do this and that. My mental health was just all over the place. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I didn't really care about it, and I didn't care what would happen to me. But now I'm taking my stripping career more serious. I did go to school last year for aesthetics. I feel like now that I'm a lot older now, like I'm more focused on like what I want to do with my life. You know, I want to buy a house next year. I want to buy a new car. I am getting married in January. Here's my ring. And I am just super happy now. I feel like I'm all there. And yeah, I just feel really, really happy. My mental state right now is a lot better. I do things that make me happy. I hang out with my family. I make TikTok videos, and that's what makes me happy. I do my makeup. I go out and do stuff and just basically hang out with family. I don't hang out with a lot of my friends because I've just been so busy. But I do stay at home a lot, and I just like watch movies and just relax and clean and cook. So I just try to really take care of my mental health and myself in general. So yeah. So the next question is, how do you pay your taxes? This is a question that I've always asked when I started dancing, because I'm not gonna lie, I did have a lot of my money in my drawer, and I always paid them on TurboTax. I have like a friend help me because I didn't really know how to do it, and then I did pay them last year. My fiance did help me do that as well. But there's so many things about that you have to pay extra for whatever state you're in, and it's really, really confusing. I decided to just get an accountant, and I think you should get an accountant too if you're thinking of becoming a stripper, or if you are a stripper. I think you should get an accountant, like 100%, like because they would help you, and they're more smarter and they know what they're doing. Make sure you save all your little slips. When you go to work, you pay, and then they give you a little slip. And on there, I put how much I've made that night. I saved all those slips, plus I also saved, you know, my nails, my hair, my makeup, my clothes, my shoes. I save all that in like this big folder that I have in my drawer. I gave that to my accountant, and he puts all that in for me. And then I also got a bookkeeper who's able to separate my stuff. Something that I do recommend if you're going to become a stripper is make sure you have a business account, a personal account, and a savings account. When I started stripping, I would just bunch up my money into my personals. I didn't know how much I was making. I didn't like everything was just so scattered. So I recommend getting an accountant and a bookkeeper if you want. So yeah, that's how you pay your taxes. And it's really important to pay your taxes because if you want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, if you want to get a loan or anything huge like that, you want to be able to show proof of income. If you don't show proof of income, you're fucked. You're not going to be able to get anything. You can't just walk into a car dealership and be like, hey, I want to get a Mercedes or a Porsche. And you have all this cash. They're going to be like, we need to see your taxes. We need to see how much you're making. Even if you want to get an apartment, or you need to show your proof of income, and that way they'll be able to tell you, like, oh, they'll be able to trust you, like, okay, like she can afford it. This is how much she's making, yada, yada, yada. So that is the whole taxes thing. It's very confusing, but just get an accountant. Trust me, it would save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches. The next question is, do you find that doing this type of work boosts your self-confidence? Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay, let me tell you, I've always been really skinny, and growing up I was like an emo scene punk rocker type of girl. I had the coontails, I had the peacock, ripped skinny jeans, I had the crazy makeup, and I've always covered up. I've always liked to wear like shorts and stuff like that. Once I grew up and I became a stripper, you know, we would have to wear dresses and high heels, and we have to look appealing, we have to look sexy. But if you find the perfect outfit for your body, oh my gosh, it's such a game changer, and it really boosted up my confidence. I feel so good about myself. Just being in that whole industry, I just felt like I rule the world, like the world is in my hands, and I just feel like I'm unstoppable and no one can really take that away from me. Yes, being a stripper does definitely boost your confidence. This question is there anything you need to know before becoming a stripper? So just know that before you become a stripper, know that everyone's gonna judge you, okay? That's number one. Second, your hours of the day is going to be super, super random. For me, it's just really, really random because like when I go to work, I go into work at like 8-9 p.m. and I'm working all night. Sometimes I'm working from like 5 to 10 hours. It depends on how my night is going. I go home and then I wake up at like 2 to 5 in the afternoon. Of course, you're gonna feel like, oh my God, like my whole day is gone. So you have to be able to know how to be able to still live a regular life with your schedule being so random. Make sure you're eating well, make sure you're taking care of yourself, surround yourself with people that are supportive, people that are not going to use you financially. That is with family too, and with friends, or if you're in a relationship, don't get taken advantage of, because once people start seeing the amount of money that you're making, everyone's going to want to be your friend. Everyone's going to want to be there for you and just use you. That's something that I wish I knew before I started stripping, because a lot of people have taken advantage of me and it sucks. So you think being a stripper is fun? Yeah, it could be fun. Money's great. You know, lifestyle is very easy. You're on your own schedule. It's great. But it comes with a lot of bad stuff too. Just save your money, be smart, and take care of yourself. Next question is, how do you sell a VIP? So the way that I sell a VIP is, so there's two different types of VIPs. The first VIP is, there's a 15-minute VIP, there's a half an hour VIP, and then the 1 hour, those are the champagne rooms. Those are the ones that you really want to get because those are the most expensive ones. 15 minutes, you can charge from 100 to 150 or 200. For half an hour, it's usually $250, but I always try to charge like 300 or 350 at the max. And then for the champagne rooms, you can charge from $500 to $1,000. I charge $1,000 for my VIP rooms. Like, I'm not gonna hang out with you for an hour for $500. Like, that's insane. So the way I sell my VIPs is basically I just go up to the guys, I talk to them, I ask them what their name is, where they're from, what's the occasion for, and then what are they looking for. So usually I'll hang out with them. If it's really slow, I'll spend like a couple extra more minutes with them and like get to know them. You want to try and get really personal with them. Like, oh, what do you do for work? Or like, what do you do for fun? Or how often do you come to Vegas? Or like, are you looking to get a dance later? Like, are you interested? Like, let's have some fun. And then I do try and get them a little tipsy, because once they're more tipsy, it's easier for them to go in the VIP room. Usually when a big group comes, they always have bottles. So I always try to be super generous and be like, oh, would you like something to drink? Like, let me give you some more alcohol. Like, and then I'll give them some ice. I'll give them like whatever, like club soda they want and like whatever alcohol. And let's say they have no more alcohol, right? And then they're like, oh, I want to buy you a drink. I don't have any more bottles. And that's when I say, oh, well, instead of buying me a drink, drinks are usually like $22 at the bar. But I always tell them, instead of buying me a drink, buy me a dance for like $100 whatever time they want. And then you can buy me a drink in the back. And then you get faster service, because you really do get faster service, because usually clubs are really, really busy at the bar. So it's kind of hard to get a drink sometimes. So usually they'll be like, okay, like let's get a dance and then we'll get you a drink. And then what I also like to do is when I try to get more money out of them, I try to upsell. So upsell for me is like, let's get a shot. Like try to get them very, very tipsy and drunk. I mean, it's my job, you know, it's kind of being like a waitress. You get them drunk and you get tipped out really well. So they get a shot, and then I usually always tell them, give me a shot. And then I talk to the waitress and I'm like, put water though. Like don't put any alcohol in it because I don't like to drink that much at work anyways. They take shots, and then let's say they're tipsy, they want to stay longer. And I say, hey, instead of giving me more money for like all these dances, why don't you use that money and get a champagne room? In the champagne room, we can stay there for an hour and we get a bottle of champagne, which costs from like 400 to like 600 bucks. All you have to pay me is 1,000, and then you pay the champagne bottle. Most of the time they'll say no because they're like, that's a lot. But sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, let's do it, which is awesome. So that's like an easy grand. And then you always want to ask for a tip after every single dance, even if you're talking to them like on the floor and you're not giving them any dances, you're just simply talking to them and they like wasted your time. Usually say, hey, can I get a tip? Sometimes they'll say, oh, a tip for what? Like you didn't do anything. I'll be like, well, a tip because like we talked for a long time, you know, like give me like 20 bucks for my time. So and they'll be very generous. They'll be like, okay, here's 20 bucks. And I do that with every single guy. And every time I do that, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, that's 100 bucks. Easy. And it's just all tips. So it's easier and faster for me to make my money. That's how I get my VIP rooms, and that's how I make a little extra money when people don't want to do dances. The next question is, how do you talk to customers? Like I said on my previous question, you just simply go up to them, talk to them, be confident, compliment them. Men love it when you compliment them. Even if you don't find them attractive, be like, I love your shirt. You smell so good. Your eyes are so beautiful. I love the jewelry you're wearing, yada, yada, yada. When you make them feel good, they're like, all right, I'm in. You want to be able to catch their attention, compliment them, talk to them, get on a personal level with them, have like a personal conversation with them, connect with them. That way they're like, okay, like this girl is really sweet. Like, she's really nice. She's really cool. I'm gonna give her some money because she deserves it. What I like to do too is like tell them like my goals. Like I want to buy a house, I want to do this, I want to do that. Once you start telling them all the things that you want to do and they really like you like as a person, not just like as a stripper or whatever, like as a human being, they'll be like, okay, cool, like this girl is not just like a drunk, druggy stripper, like she's actually trying to do something for herself. So why not give it to her, then give it to someone else who's like whatever. I'm not trying to compare myself or anything like that, but that's just something that I say to help myself get more money as well. So that's another good tip if you're wanting to become a stripper. So the next question is, how are the clubs in Vegas? The clubs in Vegas, in my opinion, I've always felt like they were really good, depending on like what club it is. I've worked in mostly, not all the clubs, but like the majority of them, like the bigger ones in Vegas. Personally, I don't want to tell you like what club I work at because I just don't want any stalkers or like anyone trying to follow me. So I know a lot of people always ask like, where do you work? And like I said, I'm not comfortable sharing with what I work, like where I work, because I am just scared that someone's gonna come after me, and you know, there's a lot of evil people out there. But the clubs in Vegas are really, really good. I mean, it's Vegas. People are always coming here for like bachelorette parties and like birthday parties and like conventions. Conventions are like such a big thing in Vegas. That's what makes Vegas so much money. And then of course Golden Night games, Raiders games. So Vegas is always like, if you want to be a stripper, Vegas is the place you want to come and work. I've had many girls tell me from different states, especially California and Arizona and Texas. A lot of the girls that are those smaller states that don't have that much crowd are always like, how do you make so much money? It's impossible, you're a liar or whatever. No, baby, it's because I live in Vegas. Vegas is like known for the city of sin. So we get a lot of traffic here. Vegas clubs are always popping. It doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially on the weekend, it's always so packed. So that's why some nights are really good for me, but there's some nights that are just not really that great for me. So that's how the clubs are in Vegas. Right now, I think right now it's like slow season a little bit. I haven't gone to work, which that's another story I'll have to get into in a little bit. But Vegas is where you want to be at if you want to be a stripper. Next question is, can male strippers make good money? Honestly, I don't know. I've never met a male stripper. I mean, I have one time, like a really long time ago, and I think he works at like those Australian male strippers. I think it's like in a casino or something. I know they're like performers. Like you like buy a ticket and like you go and watch. Like let's say if you're a girl, you're getting married and you go and watch all these guys. I'm assuming they make a lot of money, but I don't know how like that lifestyle is, and like I don't know how much income they bring home and all that stuff. I know it's a lot of work because you're on stage and you're dancing. Unlike, you know, girl strippers, we're just like at the club, you know, doing our own kind of thing and working for ourselves instead of like working together. Male strippers are more like they work together and they dance together and they perform together and they do all these things, and it's a lot of work. Just know that if you do want to be a male stripper, it's going to be like, in my opinion, I think it's gonna be triple the work. I know there is a strip club in Vegas where there is male strippers. I want to say it's Sapphires. I did work there for like a few days. I fucking hated it. But I've never seen male strippers. I remember like this girl telling me that, oh yeah, the male strippers are like in the other room or something like that. I have no idea. I've never seen them, so I have no clue. Next question is, where am I from? I am originally from Las Vegas, Nevada. I was born and raised here. I'm originally from Vegas. I never left. I never moved. I never moved anywhere else other than here. I have my family here. My family, like my background, my family is from Mexico. I'm full Mexican and Spanish as well, but just for shorter, I just say Mexican. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna leave Vegas anytime soon because my family's here and my fiance is here. My fiance is from like South Carolina. He's not thinking of moving anywhere else other than staying here in Vegas, so I'm gonna stay here forever and probably die here as well. Next question is, how did I deal with the pandemic when COVID hit? Oh my god, you guys, when COVID hit, it was so bad. I mean, I was in school at that time when COVID hit. I also was dancing at that time as well, but I was going to school full time, so like I didn't have a lot of time to go and work at the club. But when I was working at the club, I did have to wear a mask, and we were giving dances. Like nobody was coming in, like nobody was making money, and that's when the clubs shut down. And when the clubs shut down, I was like, fuck. So, because I'm an independent contractor, I signed up for I don't know if it's a program, but it's something called PUA. So PUA, I signed up for that. I just like submitted how much I made at the club. I think I was getting like $365 a week for like 2 years, because that's how long the pandemic was. So I wasn't working at all. Clubs shut down, and then I was just in school. I was just at home, not studying and doing homework. So pandemic was really bad, of course, because you know I was making like a lot of money every month to not making shit every month. But I'm glad that I was able to get PUA and get like a couple $100 every week to be able to survive for like 2 years until the clubs opened back up. Next question is, does the club get a percentage of what you make? So it's like kind of like a yes and a no. When you get VIP rooms, okay, let's say you get 15 minutes, half an hour, you do have to tip 20%. You're not obligated to do that, but I recommend that you do if you want to be like cool with everybody and not be like on their bad side. So every time that I go to a VIP room, I tip 20%. So if let's say I get a dance for like $100, I tip 20% of that. Let's say I get a champagne room. Champagne rooms, I charge $1,000, right? There's gonna be a host and a waitress. I tip the hosts always. So the hostess, I always tip 20% of that, so that is $200. Sometimes we get this thing called funny money. I don't know if you guys seen my TikToks, but it'll show like these white papers. So usually when guys don't have any more cash on them and the ATM is declining, they go to the hosts and they have like a special iPad where the card never really declines. Sometimes they'll have to call their bank and it'll go through, but it's kind of like a manual thing. Like sometimes it won't really decline. Once they pay through the iPad, the hostess give us funny money. Let's say I get a champagne room $1,000. They're gonna give me $1,000 in those white papers that is funny money. So where I'm going with this is you gotta cash that out, because it's not like cash, it's just funny money that converts into cash where the club bank is. Every strip club has a bank. That's where you cash out all your funny money. But whenever you see TikTok videos or like YouTube videos of fake money, a lot of people think it's like fake money, but it's not fake money. The reason why they give out those fake monies is to give out to the dancers on stage or to tip out the dancers or whatever. It's fun to just throw the money around. So let's say I have funny money. I go to, there's like a certain hour when you need to cash out. It's 2, 4, and 6 a.m. So on those times, if you have funny money, you have to go and cash that out. Let's say it's 2 a.m. You go cash that out. I always like to tip like 20%, maybe like, I don't know, 20 bucks, depending like how much I make. Then I'll go ahead and tip the banker. It's usually the manager who's always cashing out for all the dancers. You have to tip out to them, and if you don't, that is not good. You tip out the house mom, you also want to tip the DJ. You tip out the people that you go in the VIP rooms with, like the hostess, and then the valet guy. So those are like the main people that I usually tip, and you should too if you do want to be a stripper and you want to be cool with everybody and like make connections and be friends with everybody. And let's say like a huge group walks in and you always take care of everybody, you're going to be the first person they're going to call. So it's always good to tip out and all that good stuff. Next question is, how was my experience being a stripper? I want to say my experience has been pretty good. Of course, there's bad times because, you know, guys can be really stupid and they can be assholes and they try and do a lot of things they're not supposed to. So you do get angry and bitter, but you have to be able to control yourself and your emotions and also respect yourself. Also, my experience with men have changed a lot, especially the men who are married. I just feel like a lot of them are not as faithful as they should be. A lot of them go to the clubs and they don't tell their wives that they're there, obviously, because they don't want to get in trouble. It's just really unfortunate, like seeing a lot of shit at the club. So my perspectives on men have changed a lot, but I feel like I've learned so much about them that it's easy to see who's good and who's not. I don't know if that makes any sense. But overall, my experience is not bad. It's pretty good, you know. Really enjoy dancing, and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Yeah. The other question is, how did I get used to being in heels? It took me a little bit. I remember the first time when I started dancing, I wanted to wear my tennis shoes so freaking bad because my feet were hurting so bad. Because I would work so often that my feet just got adjusted to it, to the point where like I can literally run in my shoes. Like, of course, I've fallen multiple times at the club, which was very embarrassing. My feet are just so used to it. Like, I can be in my shoes for like 10 hours, max maybe like 8, but it's not like we're standing the whole time. Like, we're sitting down and then, you know, we're giving dances and then we're take breaks and then do all that stuff. So it's not like we're on our shoes all the time. So like I said, my feet are used to it. So it's not really a big deal for me anymore. Okay guys, that is it for my stripper Q&A. If you finished my video all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching my video, and sorry if it was like super long. But I hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you guys do have any more questions, go ahead and just comment down below and I'll go ahead and answer to everybody. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and soon I will be uploading another video next. I also wanted to talk about why I haven't gone back to work, and I'm actually gonna upload probably a photo and a video of what happened to me a couple days ago. So my left foot toenail, the big one, I hit it against my ankle somehow. I think I like tripped or something. I don't know how it happened so fast, and my nail just, it went sideways. And I was thinking about going to the emergency room, but I was like, I don't have insurance, so I couldn't go to the hospital. So I had to wait until the next day, and I got my toenail literally removed. So I have no toenail. So I have been recovering at home for like the past couple days. So hopefully I can go back to work, maybe, I don't know, probably not this week, but hopefully by next week. So hopefully I can upload a video for you guys, another like day in my life as a Vegas stripper. So just be patient with me, and yeah, so like I said, thank you for watching my video again. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to hit the notification bell as well. And I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving with your family, and I will see you on the next one.